processing your emotions from a breakup, a separation, or a divorce when you have children is extremely hard. When you have children, you feel like you barely have a moment for yourself. So when you have all of these emotions going on the inside of you and you're not quite sure what to do with them, it's really hard when you have other ones to take care of and look after. But if you are intentional about just a few things, you can make small pockets of time have big impact in your healing journey. So we are going to talk about it right after this. Hey sis, welcome to Goodbye Heartbreak, Hello Healing. Are you hurt and confused after a recent breakup? Are you having thoughts like, I can't believe I'm here again. Why wasn't I enough for him? Or I'm never going to get married? Do you find yourself Googling how to get past the breakup or how to heal my broken heart? Do you start your morning feeling like you can finally breathe again, only to fall apart when you see a picture of your ex on social media? Hey sis, I'm Candace. I too was a single Christian woman who was heartbroken but still desired marriage. I too had numerous failed relationships and wished the right man would come along. I wanted closure from past relationships, healing for my heart, and I wanted to feel joy in my life again. But the truth is, I had no idea where to start or how to make any of this happen until I found the secret, partnering with God to heal from heartbreak. In this podcast, you will find tips for moving on after breakups, growing your relationship with God, and preparing for future relationships so that you will heal your heart and be ready to move forward into the life you desire. So turn off those heartbreak songs and turn me up in those earbuds. It's time to heal, sis. Hey sis, and welcome back for another episode of Goodbye Heartbreak, Hello Healing. I am so excited that you are joining me on today. I know that we have some new listeners, and so I just want to make sure that everyone who's listening subscribes to the podcast. Wherever you are listening, hit your subscribe button. And also, if you have not yet left your 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and leave your review. It really helps the show, and it helps other women just like you to find the show. And also, I want to let you guys know that our podversary, yes, our 2-year podcast anniversary is coming up this month. At the end of the month, we will be celebrating with a giveaway, and I cannot wait. So I am going to give you more details about it. So make sure you're tuning in every week so that you can find out. But in a couple of weeks, we will be doing the giveaway for our podversary. I'm really excited about it. I just want to say thank you all for hanging out with me for so long. I am so grateful for all of you. And so I want to say a very early happy Mother's Day. Okay, Mother's Day is coming up this weekend, and I wanted to do a special episode for the moms. I know I have a lot of moms who are listening, and some are going through breakups from relationships, some are going through separations, and some are going through divorces right now. And they are wondering how to handle their emotions, especially when you have kids at home, and it feels like it is hard to find a moment for yourself. So I wanted to do this special episode, but if you are not a mom, please do not turn me off because you can apply these same things to your life as well. It's just that being a mom, you have to be really intentional with your time because those little people will eat your time up. Okay? They eat your time up. And so I want to talk about it because I learned some things through the time that I had a separation with my husband. I talked about that on a few episodes back in 2022. My husband and I separated for a while, and my children were really small back then. I mean, they're small now. They're 5 and 3. But at that time, my son had just turned 1 and my daughter was 3 at the time. So they were little bitty babies, couldn't do anything for themselves. So I had to take care of them, completely, getting them from place to place, taking them everywhere I went, feeding them, all the things. So it was a really difficult time, but I realized in that time that I also had to deal with my emotions. I could not let them go unchecked. I could not let them fester. I had to find a way to make some time for me to take care of myself so that I can do some healing work that I needed to do during that time. It was really important. So I have some tips for y'all today from that time of my life for you moms. So listen up. get ready, get a notebook and pen. You're going to want to take these notes because you're going to want to put these things into practice. Again, if you're not a mom, still take the notes and do what I say. All right. It is some great tips to help you on this healing journey. Especially, and I want to just add this, you may not be a mom, but you may have a very demanding schedule. And so if that is the case as well, these tips will definitely, work for you. You may be taking care of another loved one, maybe elderly parents. You may have a demanding job and career, all of these things. So it really can help you even if you're not a mom. All right. Just wanted to say that. And you might be a dad listening. Again, same thing. So tip number 1, stay in your routine as best you can. All right. So we all typically have some type of routine that we have every day. There are things that we all go through that we do every single day. And so as best you can, stay in that routine. My routine during that time kept me from meditating on the separation for an extended period of time. So it's like if I got out of my routine, and that was hard during that time because, I work in a school system and this happened during the summer. So it was really hard, but I made myself a summer routine, getting the kids to daycare still and coming back and working on the podcast and doing the things that I needed to take care of anyway, doing housework, making sure I cooked, making sure the things that needed to get done would get done as best I can. And so I stayed in my routine to help me keep my mind off of the negative thoughts, right? There is a time where you need to sit and process and deal with your thoughts. But if you have a routine that, I get up at this time, I go to work at this time, I, do this with the kids at this time, I take them to school, I do stay in your routine. If I work out at this time, if I, go to church on this day and go to Bible study on this day, stay in that routine as best you can so that you are not taking extra time to meditate about the things that are happening right now. Thinking about them with an intentional purpose is good, but just sitting and thinking about it, meditating on it and letting your mind wander is not. So that's a good thing to stay in routine. Number 2, pray with your kids. All right. So take some time, and you may have this habit already, but maybe you don't. And so if you don't, have some added prayer time with your kids, instead of them watching so much television. Our kids, Lord have mercy, the screens, the television, the tablets, the phones, all of those things. Maybe take some of that time away and go ahead and pray with them for a little while. Read the Bible with them. Make that, because you need more prayer in your life during this time as you are struggling to cope with what's happening. Instead of just doing it all by yourself, incorporate your kids into some added prayer time. Okay. So do that. And, you may not have to pray about the specific things that are happening in your life at that time, but you can ask them, what would you want to pray about? And pray for things that may be troubling them at that time. And then also still pray about your peace, pray for joy, strength, and all the other things that you need to happen in a more generic way with them. But still, that added prayer time would be so helpful for you and for them. Number 3, use at least one of your children's quiet times or time away from home throughout the day to engage in some type of healing activity. Okay. So if you're going through a season of heartbreak and you are trying to heal and mend your broken heart, you should be engaging in some type of healing activity every single day, every day. And so this could include your personal prayer time, like without your kids. This could include journaling or even therapy, okay? Some type of healing activity that's actually helping you to process what is happening, what's going on. And this is how you are being intentional with your time. So you may have children who, go to school or have sports or something like that. If your kids are at school and you are at home, then you can set a block of time aside for prayer time. Maybe you're at home and your kids are at home. Maybe you do homeschooling, or maybe your kids are young and you just stay at home with the kids. So again, if they go down for a nap, then go ahead and use their nap time or quiet time to engage in prayer or, journal. Or if they are away, that's when you go to therapy. Or if you have someone else who can watch them, then you take some time to do self-care or to do stuff like, maybe you need some relaxation, take a bubble bath or go for a walk, whatever time you can get. All right. I know For me, like again, it was the summertime, so my kids definitely took naps if they were home. But again, they were away at daycare, and I was home, so I would take a chunk of time to, pray, read my Bible, do some journaling sometimes, maybe not every single day, but also when my kids went to bed at night, because I would put them to bed between 7:30 and 8. So I would take that time as well as time for myself to refuel myself, to process if I had, big emotions through that day. This can also be a time for you crying or doing breathing exercising. This could also be a time for a release, time where you can cry, or maybe you've been holding it all in all day. And so you can finally have a moment to fall apart. You can have do your breathing exercises. You can talk to a friend at that time. Again, take a walk, like some type of release to actually say, oh my gosh, like I can finally breathe and let everything that you've been holding in out. Because when we're with our kids, we try to hold it all in, and sometimes we're distracted and we don't think about it. But sometimes we are thinking about the things that are happening. We are thinking about the ex. We are thinking about those things. And so you need a moment to actually let that all out and let it go. All right. So that is a very important thing, being intentional with your time when these kids are either quiet, sleeping, napping, or away at daycare. If you're at work, you're like, you know what? When I'm home, my kids are home. When I go to work, they're at school. When they're at school, I'm at work. So maybe you don't have that time, but maybe take your lunch break to do some healing activities. Maybe as soon as you get home, get them set up with a snack and maybe give them 30 minutes of TV time. And then you go ahead and make that your time to do some intentional healing work. Hey, sis. Are you struggling to connect with God since your breakup? Do you want to know what God has to say about healing your broken heart? Do you need encouragement every day in this season? I know this feeling all too well. Just like you, I struggled to connect with God and find encouragement after a life-altering breakup. Because of this, I created for you the one thing I would have needed to help and encourage me back then. Imagine if you were able to read scripture from the Bible every day that dealt with your current circumstances. Imagine if you could be encouraged every day by someone who went through the heartbreak you're going through, and if you could start each day feeling empowered. Well, now you can. I created a 365-day devotional called Goodbye Heartbreak, Hello Purpose. This book will take you on a 1-year journey of healing your broken heart, growing closer to God, and rediscovering peace, joy, and your identity. It even helps you find victory in this season and discover your God-given purpose. If you don't know which way to turn after that breakup, let me join you on a 1-year journey of healing and growth like you've never seen before. Each day, you will be empowered by scripture, a devotion, and a biblical declaration to speak over your day. Just go to CandiceABaddies.com/shop to get your copy of Goodbye Heartbreak, Hello Purpose. Use the discount code podcast10 at checkout. Act fast because supplies are limited. Still on the fence? Think about how different your life can be in 1 short year if you take your first step today. Now let's get back to the show. Number 4, don't be afraid to show emotions in front of your children. All right. I know as moms, we feel like we have to be strong all the time. We don't want our kids to see us crying or being upset or anything like that. But there is some value if you shed some tears in front of your kids. I'm not saying you should, be throwing things or anything like that in front of them, but crying in front of them, I think sometimes is okay. We, be careful of not making it the habit of completely, falling apart all the time, every single day. But at times, if they are seeing you crying because you just can't hold it in, you can use that as a teachable moment. You teach them about their own emotions, that you might be a mom, but you're still a person and you have emotions. You can teach them how everyone has them, and also be teaching them appropriate ways to express them, right? So letting them know there's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with being upset. Everyone gets hurt sometimes. Everyone feels sad sometimes, and that's okay. And so they're learning more about, again, their emotions and how to express them. And maybe when they have emotions, they're not feeling guilty about it. Or, they're like, you know what, my mom said it's okay for me to cry sometimes. I'm upset. And maybe they're more willing to come talk to you about their emotions as well when they may be feeling upset or sad. So it's not, you don't have to keep it bottled up every single time. You don't have to run away every time you feel a tear fall or turn away from them. It is okay. They might say, Mom, why are you crying? And you could just be like, Mom's just overwhelmed right now. I have a lot going on and I'm just feeling a little sad. I'm crying, but I'm going to be okay. I'm, praying and God's going to take care of me. I'm just feeling a little sad right now. And just kind of explaining, and if they have questions, answering their questions. It's really okay if they see you express emotions and negative emotions even from time to time. And then number 5, elicit help from your tribe. So I'll be honest and say this is a place where I struggle because I don't live near family, and I don't have a lot of people that I'm really close to actually, call on to watch my kids. But I have a couple of times asked, a friend or two to watch my kids to do a couple of things. And of course, my parents live about 2 hours away. So if I really need them, I could bring my kids to them, or they'll come to me and, and watch my kids if I actually need that. But if you have a tribe, elicit help from your tribe to help you. You might need someone to talk to, or someone to, watch your kids so you can have time to yourself. If you need that, don't be afraid. Of course, you want to talk to them ahead of time and let them know. And of course, if they are willing to be that person for you and they're like, oh yeah, sure, I don't mind. Maybe a play date with a child's friend, or again, a family member or a friend who's like, yeah, I'll come to your house. Even if they don't take your kids away, or even if you don't leave, but if they can occupy your kids for a little while you go and have a moment for yourself, that's what you need. But whatever it is you need, you need to identify your needs for one, identify the people in your tribe who are willing to help you, and then call on them in those times of need. All right. So those are so very important. So those are the 5 tips. Again, number 1, stay in your routine as best you can. Number 2, pray with your kids. Number 3, use at least one of your children's quiet times or time away from home throughout the day to engage in some type of healing activity. Number 4, don't be afraid to show your emotions in front of your children. And number 5, elicit help from your tribe. Now, I do want to give you a bonus, all right, here. And the bonus is, if your ex is the father of your children, you need to gauge the situation. All right. So if the relationship is truly over, you need space to heal. All right. So at that point, you need to make communication with your ex minimal and only about the things that are absolutely necessary. For example, your kids, maybe finances, if that's a necessary conversation for y'all to have, and anything shared that can't be separated at the moment. So a big part of healing is to have the space to do so, right? Again, if you still need to be in communication with your ex because he is the father of the children, do your best to make it just minimal contact for a while until you have really gone through that healing process, and however long that takes. But you just make that communication, like I said, very minimal with him so that you can take the time and have the space that you need. And if he has questions about that, you can just say simply, again, minimal details to say, I just need space right now. I need space to heal. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm short with you. I'm sorry if I'm not engaging in conversation like normal, but I am really trying to move on as best I can. So I need time and space to do the work that I need. Maybe at a different date, we might be able to talk more than this, but right now, this is where I'm at. And just explain that. All right. And, that's just something that you need for yourself. I hope this episode was helpful. Again, happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers. I hope you take a moment this week or next week to actually, do something for yourself where you can actually enjoy yourself and relax and have a moment. Okay. Take a moment where you can do something that brings you joy, that really brings you joy. All right. So, I love y'all so much. I hope that you found this episode helpful. Join us in the Facebook group if you haven't already, and I will talk to you again real soon. Love you. Bye. Hey sis, listen, if you have been blessed, changed, or inspired by this podcast in any way, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This is the #1 way that you can thank me and show support for the show. Also, if this podcast blessed you, don't keep it to yourself. Do a quick share and bless someone else. Please know I am so grateful for each and every one of you, and I would love to hear from you. Come connect with me and other like-minded individuals in my Facebook group called Christian Women Overcoming Heartbreak and Finding Purpose. I can't wait to meet you back here really soon. Until then, remember to love the life you have while you're making it better. Love you, sis.